Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who go through the papers will realize that reading the weekly and the daily papers will realize that South Africa is having a little problem with qualifications. A bit of exaggeration here and there. So, I'm going to ask you, in your pack, you're going to realize that it says Ralph has attained a PhD. I haven't completed yet. So I thought I should put it on record. You know what's going to happen to me. I work among politicians. They will go after me if I go without correcting this. But I'm struggling with the idea of we the people like anybody else. And a few set of questions that I've asked myself. First, this idea is in our constitution. South Africa's constitution opens in the preamble, says, we the people of South Africa want to build this type of ideal society based on recognition of where we come from, trying to build a better society. And I ask myself, who is we? Who is going to tell me what constitutes the we? But most importantly as well is that I'm an individual who grew up in Limpopo. How do I play a role in that idea of the we? And of course, I saw many of you are just going quiet when I say Limpopo. There are a lot of people in Limpopo who just go on with their lives and they are not involved in tender irregularities. I'm just saying. And I grew up there, a lot of people there going about their lives peacefully, and they've got no contact with another company that I cannot mention. I grew up in Limpopo, and some of you might notice I get called political analyst. The BBC calls me political analyst. They call me to give a perspective on South African politics. CNN calls me, Wall Street Journal calls me, Times call me, but I'm not accountable to anyone. I just speak my mind. And a few times I've been reminded, who are you speaking for? You have not been voted into power. You are causing problem here and there. You are saying this kind of things. Where do you get the mandate? And now I'm going to spell to you how I'm struggling with this question. I grew up in Limpopo, as I said, did my high school there. And after doing my high school, went to study at Wits University, where I studied politics. And I did not want to be a political analyst. I didn't know what it entails to be a political analyst. I didn't know you can actually make a career out of just explaining things in the society and being a political analyst. I went there because I just wanted to read. I was just curious. I read, finished my junior degree, and I said to my professor that it's time for me to go work. And Professor Tom Lodge said to me, no, I've got a bit of a scholarship there. Keep on reading. We'll find something for you to do. And I kept on at the university until I finished my master's, left, went to the United States to study further. But still, I had not much interest in politics. In my family, no one was interested in politics. My dad worked as a factory worker. He would discuss society and some of the challenges, but we never really talked about politics. I studied history, but I'm not coming from a family that has got that political background. But then I went to the United States, started watching a lot of TV, had a lot of time. The beauty of postgraduate studies, you can watch a lot of TV, you've got a lot of time. So I did that, but I started to look back at South Africa from the United States. Every time you go on TV, you've got 60 Minutes, you've got CBS, all this show airing where people are discussing their society and discussing it to a point where you're asking yourself, can I get away with this back home? I don't think I can. Looking at the depth of discussions, and also how Americans question just about everything. So I was there, looking back at South Africa and asking myself that I could go back and start asking these types of questions back home, and looking at how they were going about it, and also going into small circles where people are discussing some of these issues. Came back to South Africa, and I started writing about politics. My first article went like, I think here the minister should have been more circumspect before spending that money. And no one came harsh against me. The next article went like, this is completely wrong. Should not have been done. And no one came back. I went, and the third article was, he should resign. So I got more and more bold. But the question remained, who am I speaking for in South Africa? Am I a clever black, but clever, as we have been called sometimes? Some of you might be aware that political party seniors will say that, you think you're better than everybody else. We made you recently. There's been remarks made that we made you as the black middle class. But then there are serious questions of identity here. As I speak in the public space every day, day in, day out, in the newspapers, in TV, who do I really represent in South Africa? I meet people in the shopping centers. They say, yeah, that was a great thing you've said yesterday about Nkandla expenditure. We think that the president should go. And I said, okay, sure. But what does that mean? Are they just fascinated with the ideas that I say? Or do they really give me a space within this idea of the collective of we the people? And you might be aware, I am very critical. A couple of months ago, I get an invite. Come, the president is launching the 20-year review. Oh, that's good, I'm gonna go. Go to the presidential guest house. And I see the president, I get to meet the president, Mr. President, and I start asking myself, maybe I should have been easier on that question of Nkandla. Because now I'm in the company, it feels different. You criticize politicians, they invite you to some of the event. I like to keep my corner. I'm very bad at socializing, and I'm a very shy person. Because most of the times I speak, I don't see my audience. So now I see you. So I'll be facing the camera, I don't see them. But it changes everything when you go into that forum. The minister that you have said that buying flowers for your wife was quite wrong with the public purse is standing there, hi Ralph, how are you? Say, I'm okay, say, how are you? Keep your corner. And you become more bolder because after then you realize that, I can get away with it. There is that space. But yet it doesn't address the question of, fully address the question of who do I really speak for and who is we the people. Here's my idea of what I think we are having a challenge as to who is we the people. I believe I speak for the voiceless. I come from among the voiceless. There's no doubt about that. If someone challenges me, I'll say that. I go back to where I grew up in Limpopo. There are a lot of voiceless. I've lived it. I've seen it. I speak for them. But also, I do have access that they do not have. This idea of politics of the second person. What about some of the ideas that they like to see in the public domain, but I find them a little bit uncomfortable because I have graduated away from those ideas. And some of the ideas I might not feel comfortable with. Do I air them as the second person, or do I select? The answer is that I try to balance. It's quite a difficult task. But if you look at South Africa now, and you look at the composite of our politics, and you ask the question, who is we the people? I think the people of South Africa are beginning to take the space to themselves. Ordinary people. They are saying that we are tired of being told by the department of so-and-so as to how we should constitute ourselves as we the people and how our values are being pushed in that particular department. We will go and protest. And I know this is a challenge. My view is that when people are taken to the street and they are working outside the formal processes of engagement, remember, the funny part about South Africa is that you have elections today. The majority party will win by 62%. 3 days down the line, you've got a protest. What does that mean? It means to me, and it's a challenge I want to throw out, this idea of we the people. It says that people are saying, yes, we have formal institutions, but they do not fully encompass our value. We will get out of these formal institutions and protest and build our own spaces. And through those spaces, we will then claim that this is what represents us, we the people. If there is any kind of a contest in South Africa, you talk to many people across a different political spectrum, political parties, everybody claims the we. You speak to someone from civil society, yeah, we are working with the people, we are with the people. Political parties, we are working with the people, we are with the people. You come to me, yes, I work with the people, I'm with the people as well. You have different vision. What does that mean? It's a very interesting formative stage in our society where ordinary citizens are saying we are not just going to be defined by the institutions. Of course, the law says we should write a petition. We don't think it will be taken seriously. Hence, we will go outside these processes and we will stage our own, we will demand our own space as we the people. That is the biggest contest. 20 years down democracy, the governing party does no longer have a monopoly as to who is this we the people. People are claiming that space. Is it a good or a bad thing? I think it's an essential element of South Africa's democracy. Thank you very much.